A tween is an animation given to an object from one frame to another. It reduces the file size. In tweened animation, the values that change between frames are stored. Tweens are applied to symbol instances and text fields. We can edit the properties of an object in a keyframe using Properties Panel or Motion Editor. Now please note, Motion Editor works only for motion tween. Now let's talk about this with an example. Here in stage we have some drawings, like buildings, flights, cloud, and light. Well, now we'll give motion tween to the flight. Go to Timeline and right-click in the first keyframe. We'll get an option inspector, and in that, select Create Motion Tween. Once we select that option, we'll get a dialog box saying that you must convert the shape into symbol. So from this, we can understand that tween works only in symbols. Press OK. Now our object is changed to a symbol. Also, we'll get one blue color box in a timeline, which is used to give animation in between frames. We can extend this box till required frame for animation. Once we give the OK, look here, our layer symbol has been changed. Good. Now go to the 35th frame and move our image and minimize the object. It automatically adds a keyframe. Now go to the 60th frame and press F6 and it will add a keyframe. Place our playhead there and move our object like this. Good. Now test our movies by pressing Ctrl Enter. Very good. Our object is animating. Close our SWF file and come back to the FLA file. Now let's discuss about Properties panel. Click on the keyframe and we get Motion Tween properties. Here we have ease, rotation, path, and options. If we click on the object, we get the properties of movie clip symbol. Now, select the keyframe and look on Properties panel. Using ease option, we can slow in or slow out the motion of the object. Go to 35th frame and change the value like this. Good. Next, we can choose our rotation direction. Its direction can be clockwise or anti-clockwise, and we can specify rotation timings from the Rotate option. And we can even add additional rotation from here. We can select this Orient to Path option while we use Guideline. Now next, we have Path option. Using X and Y position, we can move the object in XY directions. Now go to the 60th frame and click on the object, and using Color Effect from the Properties panel, we can change the style of the object. Choose Alpha from Style and reduce value using its slider. It will reduce the brightness of the object. Next, we'll discuss Filters option. Now, using this option, we can give special effects to an object. Now, go to Add Filter icon. It will display some menus like Blur, Glow, Bevel, and so on. From that listed menu, select Drop Shadow option, and you'll see the changes. Next, using 3D Position and View option, we can give 3D rotation to the object. Now test our movie. Very nice. Starting off, the object is fast. Its alpha value is reduced, and we can see the shadow of the object over here. Therefore, from this lesson, we've learned how to animate our objects using the motion tween. In our next lesson, we'll discuss how to animate your shape. In shape tweening, we draw a shape in one keyframe and change that shape or draw another shape at another keyframe. Flash interpolates the values or shapes for the frames in between to create an animation. Now please note, shape tweening cannot be applied to groups, instances, or bitmap images. It won't work in symbols. If we want to apply, we must break these elements apart. Now let's learn how to perform shape tween. Place one rectangle in the first frame. Go to the 20th frame and press F7 to add a blank keyframe. Now place a circle in this keyframe. Well, now we have two shapes in two keyframes. Just right-click in the middle of the frames and select Create Shape Tween. We can note that the frames turned into pale green with an arrow heading from the 1st to the 20th frame. And after the 20th frame, press F5 to increase our frames. Now suppose we've grouped the objects. Then the Shape Tween option is not able to enact. Press Ctrl Enter to run the movie. Wow, the object is changing from rectangle to circle. Fine, go back to FLA file by closing SWF window. Now next, we'll discuss how to smooth our object using shape tweening. For best results in tweening, we can give Add Shape hints to the objects. Go to Modify, and in that, select Shape, and then choose Add Shape Hint option. This adds hints named with letters. We have shape hints listed from A to Z, so therefore we have 26 shape hints. Now, shape hint was added to one end. Similarly, we can add for other ends. In the first frame, we have the hints in yellow color, and the last frame the hints are shown in green. Let's run the file and note the smoothness in the animation. The shape specified one time change over another time. Now next we'll discuss about its properties. The properties of shape tween are ease, blend type, it can be distributive, or angular, and sound. And we'll see more about sound in later tutorials. Ease property is similar to motion tween ease. Note, if we want to shape hint to text, images, and symbol, then first break the elements apart, and then add shape motion to the frames, and at last apply shape hint. Hence, we can apply tweening to shapes and objects to perform creative movement and smooth animation. Classic tweening is similar to motion tweening. Now, after hearing this, we think that, well, then why do we have classic tweening after all? Well, motion tweening is more complicated to create animation, and frankly less flexible. But classic tween provides some types of control over an animation. In classic tweening, we can define label name, tweening like, ease, edit easing, rotate can be auto, CW and CCW, snap, orient, sync, and scale and sound. Now these are the properties of classic tween. Let's start classic tweening with an example. Let's create a star on the stage in the first layer. And rename the layer as Star. Next, right-click on the layer and select Add Classic Motion Guide icon. This will add a new layer with a dotted path symbol and with the name Guide Star. In that layer, draw a path using the pencil tool. Now, in Star Layer, move the star to the starting point of the path so that the center point of the star coincides with the beginning of the path. Very good. Now go to 65th frame and press F6 to add a keyframe in the Star Layer. Now move the star along the path to the end, and note the center point coincides with the end of the path, such as this. Right-click on the frames in the Star Layer and select Create Classic Tween. Now we can see the frames are shown in blue color with the arrow heading from 1st frame to 65th frame. Let's run the file and note the star moves along the path. The values between starting and ending frames are calculated and it moves along the path. Good. Now go back to the scene. If the object is not moving on the path, then we can enable this Orient to path option, which is in the Properties panel. And we can also give ease to the object using Ease option and edit it using the Ease editing. Therefore, we can create path based on animation using Classic Tween. Now please note that we can also apply any kind of animations and apply motion tween to grouped objects, which is not possible for shape tween. Onions. So far, we've discussed how to create animation. Now in this lesson, we're going to discuss onion skin. In Flash, we have only one frame which is currently being used in an animation. With the onion skin, we can view the series of frames and the objects involved in an animation. The current frame pointed by the playhead and the objects in that frame appear in full color, and other frames are shown dull. For example, the frames are drawn under a transparent onion skin paper and stacked one over the other. This is the onion skin icon, which in the timeline. We have a simple animation on stage, so click on the onion icon and it shows the first 3 frames. Note the first frame, which the playhead points, are shown in full color and it's editable. The rest of the frames are shown dull. Next, move to onion skin outlines icon and it shows only the outline of the onion skin instead of the complete object in those frames. Edit multiple frames highlights the first and last frame and allows us to edit those frames. Under Modify Onion Markers, we have such options as Always Show Markers. Now this enables the option to show the onion skin markers available all the time over the frames in the timeline. Another onion, this will lock the onion markers to their current position in the timeline. This option prevents them from moving with the current frame pointer. Onion 2 shows 2 frames on both sides of the frame. Onion 5 is similar to Onion 2, but it shows, naturally, 5 frames. And then Onion All shows all of the frames on both sides of the frame. Just select each option and see if you can understand. Hence, Onion Skin allows us to view the intermediate frames available in an animation. Masking techniques. Masking is the process of showing and hiding the contents with the help of other objects. Now let's discuss how to perform masking in Flash with an example here. Type some text on the stage using Text tool in one layer and name it Text. Next, break the text into shape and convert it into movie clip symbol. Now double-click onto the text symbol and get inside. Next, add another layer and name it Outline. Then copy the text layer frame and paste it in Outline layer. Now, as we're doing the right-click on frame 1, select Copy Frame and paste in Outline frame using Paste Frame option. Now we get to text in Outline layer as well. Then give outline to the text using Ink Bottle tool. Now create another layer and name it Mask. In that mask layer, draw a circle and place it over and in the beginning of the text. In the 65th frame, again it has moved to the starting point. Give some animation in between frames. Now right-click on the frames and select Create Classic Tween option. Again, right-click on the mask layer and choose Mask option. Note the changes on the text. The text is hidden, and note that the layers are locked. Let's run the file by pressing Ctrl-Enter. Wow, we've applied masking to the text and the file is running successfully. As the circle moves from the 1st to the 15th frame, it masks the text, and vice versa happens from the 25th to the 75th frame. Similarly, we can create color and black and white images, masking, and so on. These are some of the masking works. Therefore, by using the mask option, we can create extraordinary masking effects. Now, in upcoming tutorials, we'll move on to menus and panels. Combine